Hey guys, good morning and welcome to Ham Radio with K0PIR. You know, the first time I started WinWarbler, I looked at it and I thought, ooh, that doesn't look too good. There's no color. Okay, look at me now. Lots of color. Color in the buttons, nice waterfall. I'll show you how I did it. Okay, I have an article on my website, www.k0pir.us, and it will give you a little bit more information and show you some of the details on how I configured WinWarbler. Yeah, right now it looks really good. I like it. Nice colorful waterfall. Got some color in the buttons. I've been using it with PSK31 and just love it. It's easy to operate and easy to log the QSOs. Easy to get confirmation through LOTW and EQSL. Just a fantastic program overall. Let me show you how I configured PSK31. The first thing we'll look at are the macros and these macro buttons down here. I've added some color to them and I've edited them. I'm going to put a link to my file on my website, and you'll be able to download it and then make your own changes, or just take a look and see what I did with it. I've tried a lot of different things with these macro buttons, but to access them all you have to do is right click and it brings up this window, WinWarbler macros. And the first time I looked at it I thought, boy, that's going to be pretty tough to edit in there. I don't know if I want to do that. And it's real easy. Just double click on the field and it brings up this second window, the macro editor, and it's a lot easier to edit the macros from here. The help button will give you information on the macros, and I went to it, I read all of it, and boy, there's a lot of different things you can use in here. I kept mine pretty simple. I don't send a lot of complicated stuff. So, I added a few tags in there, but just the basics really. So, real easy to do. Let me do that again. Right click on the button. It brings up the WinWarbler macros window. And then to edit them, you just double click in the field. And it'll bring up the WinWarbler macro editor. So, real simple to do. You can add color to the buttons, and to do that, right click again. You look over here and look at the button set and click that, and you can change the color of the buttons. Red ones have the start macro tag in it, so when I click on that it starts to send right away. And these yellow ones, they don't send right away, because I found out if you send the file you can't edit it while it's transmitting. So if I am in a QSO with somebody and I'm going to send my station information, I click on the My Station button and then I scroll up using my keyboard, and it will put the name in of the person in the QSO. But I can put in there 100% copy on it, and edit it as I see him sending information. I can comment on that, and then when he's finished and I'm ready to send, I can hit the start button down here, and this will automatically stop when it gets to the end. So that's a little trick that I'm using, and it seems to work really well. I like being able to comment on the information that I'm reading from the other person. So let me clear that transmit pane, and you can clear all of these panes by one click there, and it clears them all. And I'll show you in just a minute how to simplify this. I don't usually use 3 of these receive panes, I just use the one. Let me point out something else. This is broadband decoding. You can put CQ in there and then click that checkbox, and I can watch and see who's calling CQ, and it's indicated by a little symbol here on the left. Okay, let's take a look at the configuration for PSK31. Up in the window near the top is the config button. Just click on it. And I'm going to run through a lot of these tabs because in my last video I forgot to go over a tab. So I'm going to just start in the general tab, and I put in some preset frequencies in there. And these correspond, I'm going to close this, these correspond to this drop down list here. So I can access frequencies real quick by using that drop down. Let me go back to the config. So I added some in there. Of course I have my station call sign and the rest of it in there. A lot of these things aren't necessary. Over here, the operating mode selection, I did go ahead, I went ahead and put in the correct mode, and I just used the drop down. And for PSK31, it's data upper for the Icom 7610 or the Icom 7300. Let's take a look at the display, and I haven't really changed anything in here. The colors look really nice to me. I like that. The yellow, the green, and the blue or the teal. I like those colors, so I didn't really change anything in there. I'm going to click the push to talk, and for the push to talk, it's the transceiver control application. I've got that, the little dial here checked off, and then the port, it's unused, but I've got COM5. And that goes along with the Icom 7610 and those virtual serial ports. The COM4 is what I'm using for rig control, and that is what Commander is using. So COM5 is the other port, but again, it's unused right here. Go over to the sound card, and that's the USB audio codec. I renamed mine the Icom 7610. But yours would probably just say the USB audio codec, and that's for reception and transmission on the PSK, and then the phone, I have that set also. Let's go over to phone, and this is one that is really unnecessary for me to talk about, but this is what I have in the settings. And the PSK, I'm going to save that one for last. Let's go over to broadband decode, and I don't think I changed anything in here. I may have changed the squelch level, but it works good right out of the box. And then the RTTY, of course, I did a video on RTTY, and this is what I have for RTTY. I'm using FSK, and it's EXT FSK64 with MMTTY. And this is grayed out right now because I'm not in RTTY mode. That's in another video that I did, and I have an article on my website. You can take a look at that. External modem, of course, I don't need to talk about that. CW, of course, it does, and I may do a video on CW. I'm using a serial cable with a DB9 on the back of my PC, and it works really well. I like it, so I can send my call sign. And if I'm contesting, I choose to use this for contesting, I can use it. It works pretty good. We'll go over to log, and you can change a few things in here. You can look at it. The help, boy, I've used the help, and the DXLab suite just has outstanding help files. Just there's so much information in there. If you have a question, click on the help button, and you'll probably be able to find the answer to your question. Contesting, I haven't done any contesting, so I'll just go ahead and breeze over that. The last one is a PSK, and that's the pretty important one, and I didn't have to change anything up here. I don't think I changed any of these. I changed the sliders in here for the tuning display. The big one was the waterfall display, and I changed it from mono to synthetic, which is synthesized color waterfall. And that's where we get the nice blue color. And I left the channel ID as the markers. I like these little markers down here, the triangles. That works good. If you put the traces on, then you get some lines in the waterfall. And that's okay too. I might try that. But for now, I really like just using the markers. Boy, what happened? Oh, went behind the window. I really like using the markers. And let me see, I changed the waterfall gain a little bit. I moved it up just a little bit, and the baseline clipping, I moved it up just a little bit. The FFT averaging, I moved it up just a little bit. I get a nice smooth blue waterfall here, and I can see the signals coming in really good. It's not too much, and then it's just not too little either. So not a lot of gain in there. If I bump the gain up, you'll see what that looks like. So I'm going to go back to 5 or 6, and that looks really good. I like that. Let me go back. I think it was on 4. So I'll go back to 4, and that looks really good to me. So, you know, and then over here in the transceiver, it's the data upper for PSK, and I don't need an offset in there. My default transmit power, I entered 30 in here. That's usually what I am. I run on PSK31, usually what I run on it. So I went ahead and entered the default power. So when I make a contact or get a call sign, just by double clicking over here in the broadband decoder, it puts the call sign in, then it automatically puts the power in there for me. Now if I'm running less power, 20 watts, I can go ahead and change that. But that's really nice. I like that. And let me see if I can make a contact here, and I'll show you what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and change this from the 3 panes down to the 1 like I normally use. And to do that, I just hover the mouse over the separation bar and drag that down. And when I do that, you'll see the marker disappear down here. This green marker indicates this receive pane. And if I just hover my mouse over it, change the double arrows, click and hold, drag it down, and then that disappears, and I have the 1 pane. Now this transmit field here, it can be changed, the size of it. I like to have more in there than just the 1 line. So there's 2 lines, and then there's 3 lines, and I kind of like it right there. So this button controls that, and I have this checked off. This automatically sets the transmit to the receive. So if I have that unchecked, you'll see the marker over here, the red one for the transmit, and it just simplifies things for me. I click on that, and it puts it on the 0 receive pane. So that's the yellow one. So if I'm going to make a contact, all I got to do is find somebody calling CQ. Let me see. I got a few scrolling over here, and a few conversations going on, a couple of them anyway. Let me see if I can find somebody calling CQ. Okay, so I don't see anybody. I'm going to move over here and just call CQ. And I'm looking at my power meter. I'm putting out 30 watts. And here's somebody coming back to me. I'm going to turn that down. I'm not sure how loud that is over the microphone. Just double click on the call sign. And I wasn't looking at that. I think he's about a 599, so I'm going to go ahead and send the report. I click the send report and then the start button. I've got a tag in there, and it will send good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. And this is Paul. He's in Pennsylvania. Still putting out a good solid 30 watts. My LC is about halfway up the bar, and that's okay on the 7610 or the 7300. Should be a good clean signal. And as soon as that ends, it will clear the transmit window. Let me make sure I have his name right. I can go ahead and click on the My Station button, and then I'm going to scroll up, and I got the name right. And I'll just put in there, thanks for the report. Nice signal on the waterfall. Nice signal on the waterfall. Okay. And then when he ends, I can go ahead and hit the start button, and it will send that file, or it will send what's in the transmit pane. I'm not sending a file. You can send an external file, and I did try that. It worked really well. I just didn't like it as well as this. I'm using a little program over here called Log Publisher, and I've had a little bit of trouble with it, but it does work. It uploads automatically to qrz.com and hrdlog.net. I'm still getting used to it. I'm going to go ahead and click on the 73 and scroll up again. And he's using a 590. And he's using FLDigi, and boy, I've run across a lot of guys using FLDigi, and I like FLDigi too. Okay, now I can just go ahead and hit the start, and it sends what is in this transmit field. Okay, so I got a good contact on PSK31. This is 20 meters, 10:19, 10:20 in the morning here in South Dakota. And I can just send something back. I can see his IMD right there. When he's when you see just these two bars, you'll get a IMD, and this is the peak, and what is this? The eye, the peak he had, but it won't show up while they're transmitting and they're sending data. So I'll go ahead and send this. Yeah, he's a good strong signal. I send that, and then I have to hit the stop button. Okay, now I don't have it programmed in to log it. I was doing that, and I decided later to take that out because I wanted to view this and make sure everything was correct. Maybe my power is different. So I don't have it set up automatically to log when I send that 73. You can do that, and it's pretty simple to do. So I'm going to hit the log button, and it logs it, sends it to LOTW, and got somebody else calling here. W3BUG. Alright. And that would be John. He's in Maryland. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and log in when this finishes. I appreciate you watching the video. Please check out my website. I'll have an article on this. I hope you get some good information out of it and find it useful. If you have any questions, please just comment below, and I will try my best to answer them. And the same goes on my website. If you just comment, it may help others too. So thanks for watching. 73 and good DX.